Welcome to the Chris Fischer Show. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, joined by Marshfield Tigers boys basketball coach Chris Fischer. Coach, kind of a mixed bag last week. You go 1-1 over in Eau Claire County. Let's first start with that the early game at Eau Claire North, a game that your guys got out to a nice lead. And then North became motivated, especially after halftime, and just kept chipping away, and you end up coming back to Marshall with a loss at Eau Claire North. But was that a wake-up call? Was that, we're not in the playoffs yet. Was that something your guys needed?
Potentially, yes. We found out a lot about ourselves. We found out that our athletes are a lot like me, and that they don't like losing. Yeah, they hate losing more than they like winning. That was clear, but it it wasn't. I don't want to call it a wake up call. It wasn't necessarily. We weren't overlooking them. We were fully aware of what Eau Claire North was capable of. Sometimes it's just really difficult to win a basketball game. Sometimes there's things and momentum swings that take place, and we did not play poorly by any stretch. Eau Claire North just played better than us. It may have been just a simple fact of them making shots and us missing shots, because neither team really turned the ball over a lot. We shot about 65% in the first half, and then 31% in the second half and in overtime. They've got a really talented team. The Roxwold kid at 6'7" is a really difficult defensive matchup for us. And he shot it well. Number 14, Besson, shot it well. They had the momentum going in that second half, and the doghouse is a really difficult place to play. And all that said, we had a really good shot at the end of regulation to win that game. This one didn't go in. We had a really good look to win it at the end of overtime. It didn't go in. We lost to a really good team on the road. And, it might just be as simple as that.
I like talking to you and other coaches about learning opportunities, because in the end, that's what these kids are doing in high school. They're learning about things. This happens to be on a basketball floor. You talked about those end game situations. Your guys have hit some of those this year. That didn't happen at North. Are those things that you can recreate in practice, or when those things happen in the game, is that all the learning that these guys need?
We do try to create late game situations within our practice periods. We'll probably go, we've got some practice time set aside, maybe once to two times a week, where we'll split our guys up and go over a late game situation. I hoped we're all well versed in any situation that could arise. In those situations down at the end there, especially in overtime where we were down one or two possessions and had to try to get the ball back, I thought we did do that well. We attacked the basket in a couple of those situations where, we're trying to get something going downhill, maybe get ourselves to the free throw line. It just didn't work out for us. But I don't think it was, I think we were prepared for that. But again, it is difficult to prepare for the environment that you play in on the road. That crowd was pretty loud last Tuesday night. You can't really prepare for that unless you're in it. But I did think our guys responded well to that.
And then you turn around a few days later, head back to Eau Claire, this time to the south side at Memorial Gym, and come away with a pretty impressive win, 21-point win over at Memorial. Val Ramberg had a nice game as a sophomore. Are those some of your underclassmen? Are those that you kind of think about and you see somebody kind of flash like that and get hooked up on a night and gives you some more hope for the future, even though we're still in this season?
Absolutely. A lot of these guys, a lot of these underclassmen haven't prepared or haven't had the varsity minutes yet. You're as you get deeper in the season, you start to see their maturation process a little bit. They're starting to mature for you, both physically and mentally, and they're starting to get some things figured out. Maybe in the early portions of the year, the speed of the game, the physicality of the game was just a little bit too overwhelming for them. So you got to kind of pick your spots as a coach as to when you think they're going to be successful. You don't just want to put them in for the sake of putting them in. You want to put them in a game where they have some success. And, guys like Valen Ramberg and Joey Ketterer are starting to play for us a little bit more because they're gaining confidence. They're playing well. They're knocking down shots. They're figuring out how to defend. They're figuring out how to play with their teammates. And when you can do that on the road, that gives them and ourselves more confidence as we move into the future here. It was a good win for us Saturday night at Memorial, a place that's been difficult to come out of there with wins.
Marshfield Tigers closing in on a conference championship. We'll talk about that right after this. Wondering what to feed your team after work, the game, or this weekend? Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield and Wisconsin Rapids has tasty char-broiled burgers for any hungry appetite. From the classic hamburger to the famous Chips Champ and everything in between, check out our daily specials. Stop inside to enjoy your meal with comfortable seating. See our complete menu of burgers, hot ham and cheese, hot beef, chicken and fish, fries, rings, curds, and ice cream served year-round. In a hurry? Same great menu in the drive-thru. Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield and Wisconsin Rapids.
It's simple, but true. Time is money. At Sherrill Tire and Service, we have over 20 mobile service trucks to get you rolling and growing again. Sherrill Tire and Service Centers, your locally owned farm tire dealer.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken has been voted best pizza in Marshfield 15 years in a row. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken is ready for your call now at 715-384-8118. Choose Drunken Chicken, BLT, Western, Mac and Cheese, Sweet Chili Chicken, and more. Plus, Scotty's has roasted chicken, fish, sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, 715-384-8118 and Scotty'sPizza.com.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Marshfield Tigers closing in on a conference championship, have a 2-game lead over both the Spash Panthers and the Wausau East Lumberjacks. And Coach, here we have the Spash Panthers coming to town on Tuesday, and it was such a classic game between the two of you 2 weeks ago. A win on Tuesday night gives you the conference title on against those Spash Panthers. Emphasis on conference title coming into this one on Tuesday?
We always speak of it like it's not something that we constantly talk about. We'll mention it here and there. But our focus is going to be on beating a really good Stevens Point team. Again, they're as efficient of an offensive team as there is in the state, shooting 50% from the field, 40% from the 3-point line. All 5 of their starters shoot it at over 50% from the field. Multiple guys shooting it over 40% from 3. They don't turn it over. They don't beat themselves. It's nice to think about the potential of winning a conference championship on your home floor, but you can't look at that outcome before you're there. You've got to worry about your process and practice, and you've got to worry about preparing yourselves to beat a really good team.
Mentioned the game 2 weeks ago over in Stevens Point. That was a comeback win for your guys on that Monday night. Stevens Point, about 10 seconds left. They've got ball in hand with a chance to tie that game and did launch a 3 with the hopes in tying it. They're obviously going to come into this one thinking that they've learned some things. How much do you need to mix it up to keep them off balance on Tuesday night?
Yeah, we're definitely going to look at some things on film from the last time we played and the games that they've played in between here. We've got to see if there's a certain technique that maybe we could exploit or take advantage of, as I'm sure they are as well. Coach Kroll and his staff are probably looking for the same thing. We know each other very well. We know each other's personnel very well. We try to gain advantages in certain areas. It's probably going to be another down to the wire affair like it was the last time. It's 2 really good teams that play together and play for each other. And, it should be a good game tomorrow night.
2 home games this week. After Tuesday, it's a Friday matchup against Wausau West. I'd imagine the guys are looking forward to not having to get on a bus this week.
Yeah, we haven't had time to reflect on it yet, but when the time comes to do that, looking at what our guys accomplished over these last 2.5, 3 weeks here with 6 consecutive games on the road and 4 of them being in conference, going 5-1 through that stretch with that 1 loss being in overtime. If we've learned anything about ourselves over these last 2 or 3 weeks is that our guys are really connected and they enjoy the company. They enjoy the bus rides there. They also learned that winning can be really difficult, that, what we're doing is special. We may have gotten, you go on a nice winning streak and you think you're invincible and you think, you're going to come out on top every game. And when it doesn't happen, it can kind of, get you back into reality, and you learn that winning is tough. I'm happy with where we're at, but I know that we've got more in the tank yet. And I know that we haven't played our best basketball yet. So that's encouraging.
Commercial break now. When we come back, we'll take a look back with Coach Chris Fischer right after this.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call, to your first sip, to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
After a couple years of a job that doesn't fit, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That is where Mid-State Technical College comes in. Would cooking be a good fit? Try on a career in welding. Perhaps the outdoors suits you better. Or maybe helping people is a better fit. No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options, making Mid-State the perfect fit.
We rejoin today's Coach Chris Fischer Show. Coach, I think back to that first day of practice back in November. Some kids were climbing out of their deer stands, getting ready to play basketball. Think back to those early moments and all the things that you guys have accomplished and the memories that you've made along the way here so far.
Yeah, you get yourself wrapped up into a basketball season, and you're always thinking about what's next. And I do enjoy thinking about how far we've come, not just with this group, but with our program in the last 4 years. And we've got kids that have bought in, and, specifically with this group, that first week of practice, you could see the talent was there, but you're always curious as to how the pieces are going to fit together. Our kids are working so hard. We ask and demand a lot of them, and they're responding well. And we've got a great group of senior leaders in Brant Fries and Max Ortel and Noah Daniels. And those guys are setting the tone for us in practice. Those guys are setting the tone as to how you should behave and operate in your academic work and your behavior in school. And, they're the models of how we want our student athletes to be. These moments fly so fast. Our seniors are only guaranteed, 3 more regular season game in the playoffs. We're trying to enjoy every moment and every minute together. And we're looking forward to finish the year strong.
This week all starts on Tuesday night at home. The Marshfield Tigers host the Spash Panthers. Coach, I know the doors open at 5. They may have to get there at 5 to find a seat. I think there's a big crowd coming on Tuesday night.
I hope so. I've always said our field house is pretty unique. It was built and designed specifically to host big crowds. It would be nice. I think if a lot of people are there and a lot of people are there from Marshfield, that would give us a tremendous advantage. That place can get pretty loud when there's a lot of people there. So it'd be great to see a lot of our fans, alumni, and community members come out and watch us. We'd really appreciate it.
Coach, we'll see you on the gym on Tuesday night.
Thanks, Jason. Roll Tigers.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.